Hi, welcome to the Pinoy RN, a podcast that provides insight into a variety of subjects relevant to Pinoy nurses. Here's your host, Jerome Babate.
In terms of career path, I have a very colorful na journey towards where I am now. Well, I finished my BSN in 2007 in Davao City, Broken College, in 2007. I took the board exam December 2007 and passed. Then I decided to, me and my friends, we decided to fly to Manila to attend a training. Because at that time, ang nasa isip namin, Davao na tayo nag-aral, Davao na tayo nag-training, dito pa tayo mag magte-train for specialization in nursing. Bakit di naman natin subukan ang Manila? So, 5 of us in my batchmate, my classmate actually, we flew to Manila. We landed in Sembo in Makati. And from there, we started scouting for possible opportunities. And our original plan really, while we were in Manila, is to take training because at that time, UK student visa is in demand. So we enrolled in a certain training program in Makati. But then, when we were already about to complete the training, we were asked by the agency na pupunta daw kami ng for embassy appearance. That was February of 2008, I think. Yeah, February of 2008. When we were already at the embassy, where we had to make an appearance for the student visa, the three of us, ewan ko, parang biglang we stopped and said, ay, dito tayo mag-abroad, dito na lang tayo. Then, wala na. Yung nag-train kami for student visa, all of a sudden in just one, parang isang snap lang, naisip namin na, baka hindi talaga tayo pang overseas, dito na lang siguro tayo. So, nakapag-decide kami. A day after that, we went to, me and my friends went to the Philippine Heart Center. We were inquiring for training because that's our original plan naman while going to Manila na magte-train lang sana kasi babalik ng Davao after we'll be trained. Then we had our training. Our first training was at the Philippine Heart Center. We attended the training for dialysis nursing. I think it was almost 2 months na training program. And then after that, kasi mahirap pa maghanap ng trabaho. That was in 2008. So from Heart Center, we jumped across Heart Center. We went to the Lung Center of the Philippines and took another training. Then while on training, we read in one forum, allnurses.com, that the national government, through the Department of Labor, would be hiring nurses for different government agencies. I don't know, sir, if you can remember the NARS project of then President GMA.
I remember that.
We went to the agency that we went to was Air Force in Villamor, Pasay. So we applied. Because of our training at the Philippine Heart Center, luckily we were accepted. And when we were interviewed, we were asked where do we want to be assigned. Sabi namin, ay, dito tayo mag-Manila. Balik na to ng Cebu para Bisaya na. Kasi almost 1 year din kasi kami sa Manila. So we decided to be deployed in Cebu. So that's why I'm here in Cebu. Uh, my first work here in Cebu was a civilian staff nurse of the Philippine Air Force, Brigadier Benito N. Ebuen Air Base Hospital, a hospital owned by the Philippine Air Force. I was assigned um, in the general ward at the same time ER. I stayed there for 3 years um, because I decided that I will be pursuing my my desire really of being a dialysis nurse. So in from 2009 up to 2011, I was with Air Force, and then I asked permission if I can take on a indefinite leave because we were just contractual at that time, not yet regular. So I was allowed to go to NKTI for a specialization in dialysis. So I was with NKTI for 6 months. And then the middle of my training, I think around June, I was called by one of the DOH hospitals here in Cebu, FPCHA Sanitarium. They're asking me if I am willing to be part of the organization since there'll be a new chief nurse who happens to be a good friend also. She invited me because she'll be assuming the post as chief nurse. She asked me if I can work with her and designated me as her training officer. So I started at Eversley July of 2014. July of 2011 because it was January when I started training at the NKTI. July, I assumed the role of a contractual nursing training officer of the Eversley Chat Sanitarium. I was with Eversley for almost 3 years, 2011 and 2014. So I started there as a training officer of the nursing service. And then a year after, I was designated to become the planning officer of the hospital. So from the nursing office, I was transferred to the office of the medical center chief to handle the planning of the hospital. And also in that same period, when ISO was already mandated in all government institutions, I was included by our medical center chief to be part of the core team who will be sent to Development Academy of the Philippines for a training in ISO 9001 2008. So we were trained by DAP in for the ISO 9001 2008 implementation. And really, I can say because of that training, it helped me brought to where I am now. Uh, so when we were trained, one of the our deliverables is to make Eversley Child Sanitarium an ISO certified institution. We were aiming at that time to be the first DOH hospital in the Philippines to become ISO certified because at that time, 2012, it's only NKTI. And NKTI is a GOCC and there's no DOH hospital yet who's a ISO certified. So we were aiming. But unfortunately, if you can remember, sir, it was in 2012 or 2013 where Typhoon Yolanda strike and at the same time, Typhoon Yolanda and the earthquake in Bohol. So we never made it to becoming the first DH hospital to become ISO, but we still made it. We eventually became the first DH hospital outside Luzon to become ISO certified. So from there, my career was like really turned to 360 degrees. The moment that the moment that Everest became ISO certified, I get to receive some invitation to apply with them. Some of medical centers, some uh, level 2 DH hospital. So in February 2014, I was still connected at that time with Eversley when I was presenting our roadmap to ISO to all DH hospitals in the Visayas cluster in Bohol during our meeting. I was I was um, interviewed, informal interview done by the chief of hospital of Talisay District Hospital then. Uh, He's telling me that if I'd be interested to work with them as a chief nurse, because at that time, 2013, I already finished my master's degree, Master of Science in Nursing at St. Paul University, Philippines. So, so when he knew that I'm already a master's degree, uh, he offered me to apply as nurse 5 of that institution because uh, the plantilla is new, but there's no insider who can qualify for the nurse 5 position because at that time it requires masters already because the nurse 5 in Talisay District Hospital is the chief nurse. So since there's no insider who has master's degree or no qualified, he asked me to apply. But at that time, I was really um, uh, I'm not sure if I'd accept that offer because nurse 5 is really they offer with another medical center salary grade 22. So, although it's not a nurse position, but um, I was like thinking at that time, if I would accept a salary grade 22, it's not a nursing position. And Talisay District is offering salary grade 20, but a nursing position and a chief nurse. So of course, I followed my heart and applied at Talisay District Hospital sometime in March. And I was appointed April 1 of 2014 as the nurse 5, chief nurse at that time of Talisay District Hospital. And so I am now on my going sixth year as a chief nurse. I was nurse 5 in Talisay District Hospital from 2014 up to November 21 of 2016 because November 22 of that same year, my position was reclassified from nurse 5 to nurse 7 up to July. When was the DMD circular? July 17, 2020, where it already declared that there's no more nurse 7 but only nurse 6. So that's my journey in which started with a dream of becoming a dialysis nurse and eventually now working on a separate field on the administration and management of nursing service. Oo nga sir, kasi I was not really expecting naman talaga to work as a chief nurse because at the back of my mind when I was still enrolled in masters, I just want to um, advance my learning, but not really thinking of working as a chief nurse. If I'm not mistaken, I was even asking you at that time, pa sir, what would be best MA or MS at that time.
Yes, I
So
remember that.
it wasn't really. I think I don't know if it's really destiny that I'd become a chief nurse someday, but really way back when I was still pursuing my master's degree, it never really came in my mind that I would be working as a chief nurse. And well, here I am now, going 6 years as a chief nurse in DOH. Uh, I just really love the people I'm working with because they're very cooperative. I can say that all my time and energy is really working with Talisay District Hospital. What I really like working here the most is that my colleagues, my fellow nurses, they're very they're really very cooperative, especially our nurse managers. Um, I can really see the difference of Talisay District Hospital way back 2014 when I came in and Talisay District Hospital now. It's really very, very different in terms of practice and in terms of patient. That time we're only catering around 5 patients in our ward in a day. But now, my God, our admission in a day, um, our daily census is around already 150 patients a day. Um, Also, aside from my colleagues in nursing division, I'm also very lucky because my medical center chief and my colleagues in the executive committee are are really very, very supportive, not just for the nursing division, but also for my professional growth. Whenever I need a training, uh, our boss, our medical center chief, would not hesitate really to approve any request for training, and he even sometimes volunteers my name or sends my name to attend certain training. So I just feel really lucky and blessed to be part of a growing, rapidly growing DOH hospital, because DOH Talisay District Hospital has been in the service since 1999. It was just in 2014 or 2015 that um, enormous change have come up to now. No? Well, I started working in Talisay District Hospital with only two buildings, two single-story buildings. But now we already completed the our first building, seven-story building, and we're about to construct actually another seven-story building, but unfortunately due to COVID, so we had to stop. So yun, it's because of the people, both from the nursing division and the management, that uh, makes my work as a chief nurse a very fruitful and sometimes challenging. Yet I'm really loving every day of my role as a chief nurse in this ever growing DOH hospital in Central Visayas. Nurse manager has taught me in this COVID-19 pandemic. Number one, very important as a nurse manager, we have to be adaptable and flexible. Because as we all know right now, in this time of pandemic, uh, it's almost a 360-degree shift to what was being practiced a year ago. If a year ago, we can still conduct a almost everyday meeting, it would be very easy to conduct a meeting. A year ago, it's very easy to make rounds in different nursing units, even at night. But now it's really different. But it's very important as a nurse manager that we have to be open-minded or flexible or adaptable, because we as nurse manager, if we do not adapt to our current situation now, I think uh, our people or our colleagues in the nursing service division would also have difficulty in adjusting, because if they can see their leader having difficulty on dealing with this COVID pandemic, all the more it will it will somehow give an idea na chiefness nga natin parang naguguluhan na or hindi na alam magagawin or something like that. Kumbaga, it's really very important that as a nurse manager, we should be yun, open-minded and flexible, because our people below are looking up to us. Second, that that I've learned from this pandemic is um, we should be what do you call this, wide reader, or we must have as a nurse manager, our knowledge should not be focused only to what is within our organization. Uh, as nurse manager, we should also know what is happening outside, what are the things that is being done in other facility, what are the current trends in in the international setting, what are the things that they've been doing. It is very important that as a nurse manager, we should be uh, connected to what is really happening around us, because all of this learning that we will be getting um, from different organization outside our hospital, both outside and inside our hospital, is very crucial, especially in our decision making. Because as a nurse manager, Um, if your knowledge is just limited within your organization, let's say, or just within the UH, uh, your actions would also be limited into that perspective. Whereas if you are a nurse manager with uh, um, you have a good connection in terms of or updated in terms of the practices everywhere, um, the division, the hospital will really benefit from it for one, because all your decisions will be based on what you have learned or what have you understand in the practices or the best practices from different organizations.
Well, that's all for today's episode of Pinoy RN. Thanks for listening, and thank you to our guest for joining me today. Join us again next time when we talk about Filipino nurses and nursing. Make sure you subscribe to the Pinoy RN podcast on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Also follow us on Facebook at Pinoy RN Podcast. Special thanks to our event partners, Beta Nu Delta Nursing Society, Filipino Nursing Diaspora Network, Nursing for Humanity.